All right, Pokemon trainers, it's Drew back with another video, and today we are discussing the director of Pokemon Go has addressed our concerns about its new owners and future of the game. So let's get into this here. So the writer of this article reached out to the director of Pokemon Go, whose name I believe is Michael Sternaka. I guess these guys have quite a bit of a passing of knowledge of each other from what I've been reading here. And I just wanted to go over a couple of things if you didn't see this article, what I thought was really important. So the writer of Polygon says, as someone who works on the game very closely, what do you think this deal with Scopely means for Pokemon Go players? And the guy basically comes back and says it's actually going to be great things ahead for the game and for the community, things like that. And the guy replies back, so what's going to be so wonderful, I guess, about this merger? And the guy comes back with a answer of he's gotten to work with the team over at Scopely, and they share a lot of the same values that the Niantic Pokemon Go team held near and dear to their heart in terms of caring about player communities through various games and etc. So I found that to be very, very nice, I guess. And the next point in this was in the discussions that they've had. Did you get the impression that Scopely views Pokemon Go differently than its other free-to-play titles? And the guy comes back with an absolute yes right off the bat. And they have known that this game is different. And they're going to treat it just like it's been because it's such a success. So that's great for us. Okay. The other question was, I think a big concern out there will be intrusive ads interrupting gameplay and in Pokemon Go. Obviously, you do have ads, but they come in a very different delivery system, or they worry people will be distracted from restricted on playtime, or have to play money to keep playing. And the question was asked, is this something that's coming to Pokemon Go? The guy's reply was, if there's one takeaway that I would love for people to have from this conversation is it is a definite no. Not happening to Pokemon Go. Not now. Not ever. Scopely recognizes the uniqueness of this game and has told us they'd be foolish to try to change the recipe that's made this such a hit. So, folks, ad play is dead. Okay. Don't worry about the ad play. Okay. The guy wants to reiterate that Scopely as a company, the way they operate is to give the teams in control of the specific game the decision that to make the right for that game. All right. So that's a big plus for us. We are not going to have to worry about stupid changes like that to this game. Okay. The next addressment was people's concern about their location and movement data being shared with second corporations. Even more people, when you get to the top of an organization structure, different country, are there plans to address those concerns about keeping players' location data private, their travel information, their businesses that they visit, etc.? How is the company, going to handle that? And the guy says he's happy to address it head on. They do not sell our player data to third parties, full stop. They only leverage our location data to operate the game, and they store that all on a US-based server, and they follow all strict regulatory best practices to protect our data. So the data issue seems like a non-issue. I don't know why everybody was freaking about that either. So that's dead in the water. The next question was, in the past, we spoke to Niantic CEO John Hanke very briefly and other Niantic people. One of the things I think was raised again and again was philosophy of getting out, being active, exploring. I guess what I'm curious is the Niantic specific philosophy? Does the move change the mandate in any way? What does this mean for you to have more freedom to do beyond Niantic? The guy replies with, it's definitely a Niantic driven mission for sure, but I will say that we on the game team are very passionate about it as well. I would be remiss if through this transaction Pokemon Go became Pokemon Stay at Home. We still want this game to be something that is, at its core, encourages players to go outside, explore the world, create those real-world social connections, because I think that's truly what makes this game unique and valuable as it is to a company like Scopely. So I wouldn't expect any changes at that front anytime soon, because that's a mission that we hope to carry along with us even through the new ownership. The next question was, he was referring back to Ed Wu's statement of in-person community events, Safari Zone, Go Fest, etc. will continue as they are. The guy's reply, it is totally true. Two things that I have heard time and time again through Scopely leadership that I've had a chance to chat with is, number one, how impressed they are with our ability to build such a strong, passionate community. But number two, how blown away they have been with what they created in terms of our live event experiences. That's something that no other game in the industry really does. And it's an area that, if anything, they want us to double down on and grow in the future. So first and foremost, all that we've announced for Pokemon Go Fest this summer, that is still happening. And then beyond that, if anything, what I would say to expect, maybe even bigger and better live events for us, maybe in even more locations in the future. Sorry guys, I don't know why I got so tripped up on that. So basically what he's saying, everything's going off without a hitch, and if anything, as we roll through summer, expect events to be bigger and badder than ever before. Okay, so I just thought this was a great conversation. This guy asked really all the right questions. This next question was about how the partnership with the Pokemon company and everything like that. Basically, it was just Scopely already worked close with the Pokemon company before, so they already had a relationship, and that's what made the deal go through without a hitch. This next one was, in a situation like this, where do you get most of your feedback on the game from? What's coming into you the most, and how do you process it? They come back with, we leverage lots of sources for feedback. I'm personally reading things that I see online and whatnot, but I also talk to folks in the local community, and I'll catch up with people at GoFest. But my own personal sort of processing of feedback aside, we also have a robust user research arm in the company, and so we are constantly serving players and pulling not just quantitative feedback, but qualitative feedback as well, because any source of information can come with its own inherent bias, and we really want to be able to cut through that and sample a broad range of players. So they do kind of listen to feedback, but sometimes I guess they feel that our feedback is biased. And the last thing that they brought up, which I thought was really cool, wanted to touch on this as well, was we're coming up on a decade of Pokemon Go, which I can hardly believe that, but that is true because it came out in 2016, and that would be next year. So in the light of this big change happening, what are things that stand out to you as the most, is how the game has changed and things that you have learned as a team, and what kind of carry forward into this is, scary to say, the next decade of Pokemon Go? So the guy replies with, so you might not know this, but I have been spearheading our 10-year anniversary projects. So that's been a big part of my day-to-day for the past 1.5 to 2 years. They have been working on what's coming up next year for us. Okay. We have been planning for a long time, so I really want to make sure that next year is a big celebratory moment as possible for Pokemon Go. And it also just happens to pair up nicely with the 30-year anniversary of the Pokemon as a brand. So next year, as Pokemon fans, you are going to just have the best year of all time. So I cannot wait for folks to see what we have planned in terms of these past 10 years compared to the next 10 years. The guy says, I often look back at the announcement trailer for Pokemon Go, and in many ways, that signaled what the future of this game looked like. If you look back at the trailer, you'll find that a lot of the promises we made back in 2016 were delivered on. So I'm very interested in if we were to create another trailer, maybe not a launch trailer, but a trailer for the next 10 years, what that might look like. How can we excite players and inspire players for another decade of this fantastic experience? So, guys, they're going bigger and better for the next year. So I would say let's hold on to our hats and see what comes next year. And I see a lot of posts on Twitter about this, so I'm going to touch on this last little blurb here. So finally, with this move to Scopely, does that get us any closer to Caterpie in a cowboy hat in Pokemon Go? And the guy replies back with, nothing to share on that front, unfortunately. I guess Snorlax with a cowboy hat wasn't enough for folks. We have to put it on more Pokemon. So I just thought that was really funny how he was like, well, we gave you Snorlax with a cowboy hat and it wasn't enough, you know. So they tend to know that people want Caterpie with a cowboy hat. So who knows? Maybe that might be a 10-year anniversary tactic for them. So, but guys, I just wanted to go over this with you. This is coming from, now a Scopely employee who's over Pokemon Go as a whole. So I think this is good. Like I said, I look for Scopely to dump a insane amount of money in this. And from what I've been reading about why Niantic dumped it off to Scopely, was they were more focused on their mapping project or whatever the heck it was, some AI thing, and they no longer wanted to be in a game business. So I think we're all good here, guys, moving forward. This looks up for Pokemon Go. So just wanted to leave everybody with those thoughts, and I will catch you guys on the next video.